Alright guys, hello, this is Poetic Prophet. I'm back after such a long break. I'm sure you guys missed me. Because I was trying to figure out like what kind of YouTuber I wanted to be. So I figured out that I wanted to be a JoJo tuber, and this video is like a little introduction to what I'll be doing from now on. So this video is going to be what would have happened if the Stardust Crusader death group was changed. So spoilers if you haven't gotten to part 3 or 4 or 5. But Kakyoin, Iggy, and Avdol died, while Joseph, Polnareff, and Jotaro died. Or lived, my fault. Now, what would happen if Jotaro, Polnareff, and Joseph died, and Kakyoin, Iggy, and Avdol were left alive? Let's get into it and talk about it while playing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Eyes of Heaven in the background. Now, these two lived in this world, and these two died. So, just pretend that they died. Now, first off, let's talk about how they died. So, Avdol is not usually a coward. He's usually the supporting man. He's usually the backup man, the man who talks, and the man who walks the walk and talks about what sort of danger they're getting into and what they should be doing instead of acting on impulse. But he does sometimes act on impulse like most characters in JoJo do. Now, what if instead of risking his life for Polnareff during the Vanilla Ice scuffle, Avdol risked his own life and jumped out of the way? And Iggy, being a dog, probably having better instincts than humans, jumped out the way, and Polnareff was incinerated, or whatever you want to call it, erased, with Vanilla Ice's cream. Now, after that death sequence, I'm sure they'd have a little bit of time to figure out what's going on, what just happened, like a little bit of time to register what just happened with Polnareff. Avdol would probably feel really guilty about this, and Iggy would probably pretend not to care, but actually be really shocked that Polnareff just died, like one of the best stand users he had ever met. Excuse me. Oh my god, I'm being fucking raped here. Alright, so what would probably be going on after that is probably Avdol shutting it out of his mind and going, we need to focus on Dio here. We need to focus on his servant. So after a long scuffle, they probably still succeed with Vanilla Ice and defeat Vanilla Ice. Now, for the sake of argument, let's just say that Kakyoin in this world is a better video gamer. He's like actually good. Oh, excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold. Let's say Kakyoin is good now. Let's say he's good at video games. Kakyoin is trying to save Jotaro and Joseph from Darby Younger in his stand, Orisis, I believe. He's trying to save his stand, or their stands of them. Now, let's just say for the sake of argument that Kakyoin isn't complete shit and actually saves Jotaro and Joseph. And they defeat Darby Younger in the ordinary order goes on. And they meet up with Avdol and Iggy. And they talk about Polnareff's death. And they take a second to mourn. But then they focus back to Dio. And they go up to his place, like his room. They open up the coffin, Nuke Saku's there, yada yada. But this time, instead of the Dio jumping out the roof, or the window, my fault, Dio takes the time and slits Jotaro and Joseph's throats and absorbs their blood right there, or whatever he does. So he sucks it in. And then he gets like the ultimate high from the Joestar blood, and two more Joestars are there instead of the normal one that he had. So he's feeling even more ecstatic. So he goes to the streets, he fucks around, kills people. My fault, normal Dio behavior, and he's getting real cocky. And Avdol, Iggy, and Polnareff are, my fault. Avdol, Iggy, and Kakyoin are hopeless. They're not sure what to do anymore. All their friends are dead, especially the Joestars, the ones that were so in control and so powerful with their stance. So they see Jotaro, Joseph, and Polnareff's ghosts, like they did in the original series, but with Avdol, Iggy, Kakyoin. And they speak to them. They say, you know, usual nice anime shonen things, and then inspire them to go fight Dio. They go fight Dio, and even though I personally don't think they would win, even against all three of them, against him, with Joestar blood, Jotaro and Joseph's, I don't see that happening, but let's just say that they did win. Now, the meat of this theory is what happens after that. In the original series, Jotaro... Oh, fuck me. Jotaro mentored Josuke Higashigata, Okuyasu Nijimura, and Koichi Hirose, and Jean-Pierre Polnareff, in a way, mentored Giorno and them and helped them with the Requiem Arrow and Diablo's situation. I am about to die. In real life and in the game. Now, what I think would happen is Kakyoin would take Iggy. I don't see Avdol as much of a dog man, especially with a dog as ferocious as Iggy. But I do see Kakyoin taking Iggy in. Iggy got his gum, that's good. But in part 4 in Moroi Cho, Kakyoin and Iggy go to Moroi Cho to look at Joseph's son because they read his will. Turns out that Joseph has a secret son, Josuke. So Kakyoin goes along with Iggy, and he tests out Josuke. He tests out Josuke's strength as a stand user, all that jazz. And I don't see much changing in Moroi, but I feel like a better student-teacher relationship would go on with Kakyoin and them, because Jotaro, my fault. Jotaro, he was a good teacher and all that, but he was also a little bit more fond of Koichi than Josuke and Okuyasu. But I can see Kakyoin equally distributing teacherly love between all three of them, maybe even Rohan a little if he was, you know, willing to listen. So that's what I think would happen. But I do see Kakyoin, Iggy, and Avdol keeping in touch, unlike the other Joestars did and the other Stardust Crusaders. So let's say the Rat and Sheer Heart Attack, for example. I can see Kakyoin and Iggy and calling for help from Avdol, and Avdol comes and actually helps with Yoshikage Kira and all of them. And vice versa with the part 5. But I do not see Avdol becoming crippled like Polnareff did. Polnareff was kind of more reckless, while Avdol was a little bit more cautious, even though Avdol did have his spurts of overconfidence. My fault. Now, I think they would still help out, but I do see Avdol and Kakyoin maybe getting some battle scars, but I don't see either of them getting crippled. So, let's see. What happened? I would see them helping out a lot more, being more able than Polnareff was, helping out with the Requiem Arrow, possibly even shortening Diablo's arc, Diablo's little arc he had at the end, and like, you know, winning a lot more easily and a lot less bullshit going on, like Silver Cherry Requiem. I don't see that happening. Hierophant Green Requiem or Magician's Red Requiem. But I do see their stands becoming stronger because Kakyoin and Avdol seem like the type to train their stands during all that empty space, unlike Jotaro. And possibly Polnareff? I don't remember. He never mentioned that. That's about all I got. It's basically Avdol and Polnareff. I mean, my fault. I keep wanting to say Polnareff. Avdol, Iggy, and Kakyoin live. They help out with Moroi Cho and Naples, Italy. And, yeah, that's basically it. Their stands are stronger. Not much changes for part 4 and 5. But that was just a little introduction video because I wanted you guys to see like what kind of YouTuber I'm going to be now. So expect videos weekly, but this video counts as a week. So Merry Christmas Eve, Merry Christmas, Merry Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, all that jazz. Poetic Prophet signing off.